So, good evening, guys. Welcome to another session of social community. This is the day two of introduction to Hacktoberfest. So, today's session will be on all about Hacktoberfest, and we have our special speaker, Anu Gupta ma'am, within us. She is a senior software engineer at Paytm, ex software engineer at Herman International, and ex success manager at Codepreneur. So, Anudi, are you here?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah. Okay.
am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, you are audible.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, good evening, guys. I hope everybody is doing good. And thanks for joining in. Thanks to the resourceful community for inviting me in. Let me know if you can see my screen so that I can start. Somebody can confirm. Okay, just before that, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
No. Okay. My screen is visible, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Sure. I guess I'll just skip my introduction. Today, what we'll be talking about is like Hacktoberfest and what exactly is an Hacktoberfest and what the fuss about the Hacktoberfest is all about. And like I'll answer many queries that are concerning to most of the folks. And we'll be also talking about some of the problems that happen in Hacktoberfest. So, yeah, like stay tuned. I'll be also briefing about or showing you how you can actually start your first contribution. I believe in your first session, you guys already know what is Git and GitHub. So you already have this account, I suppose, right? Just show of hands that to let me know if people already have accounts. So you can raise your hands. Yeah. Cool. All right. So that's great. We also like I'll encourage you after the session do contribute to Hacktoberfest once you know what is it actually. So I'll tell you this Hacktoberfest where it started off, right? Like it started off by for celebrating the open source community, right? What exactly is open source? It's kind of a software or products where everybody. Okay, somebody's raising hand. So, Hacktoberfest, like it's a celebration of open source software. And what exactly is open source software? It's like the solutions or products that are out there for you to use or for you to contribute or you to actually, distribute it. So, by distributing it, mean is that you can actually clone that repo or clone that software solution. You can add on your own features and you can use it and deliver it for others to use, right? So that's all about the open source where everybody actually have their products or solutions out there for everybody else to use, right? So, like I'll give you an example. Like it's all about community, right? There's no product that can be built only by a single person. It's always a group of people who will be working on the solution, a group of folks who would be working on the solution. So open source is like kind of a solution where everybody we are trying to gather for building a kind of product. So it's like open for everybody. You can actually go on and find out whatever project suits you and you can add your own innovations or ideas. That's how it works. So I'll tell you in the industry also it works like that way only. It's not. So if I talk about Paytm, it's not built by a single user, right? It's built by a lot of folks which who are actually working, right? So everybody is contributing to features, everybody is contributing to the bugs, solving them, and everybody is like working on a single product. So open source is also one of the kind that it is free and it is available for everybody to see, and it gives a leverage that you can use it and you can add on your ideas and innovations or add on to the features, right? So that's how we like it's Hacktoberfest comes into picture. for encouraging people to join more and more or contribute more and more into open source. So it's kind of celebration that we are talking about, and we have chosen October as the month where we are actually using it or utilizing it for contributing to the open source. So it's great opportunity for all of the developers or like whoever is learning, whoever is experienced, so everybody comes into one place and working on a single solution or working on a single software or working on a single project. So that's how it works, right? It's all about community, and the community that we are talking about is open source, right? So yeah, it actually encourages like Hacktoberfest actually encourages more and more people to join in and work together. That's why it is. I'll take you to the brief history. I'll tell you why is it important and why I have kept it. Because it's very important, why it came into picture in the first place, right? So Digital Ocean was one who took this initiative and they started Hacktoberfest to promote this open source software. Okay, and they kind of motivated the developers to, you know, uh, it's not like that they want only their developers. They wanted everybody else, like everybody throughout the globe, to work on their products or work on their solutions. So that's where they have this idea, and that actually motivated developers to contribute to something other than what they're actually working on currently, right? So like let's say if you're working on some projects, okay, now there are certain interesting projects already there in the world or in the globe, right? So open source gives us that opportunity to take the handover or understand or learn from them, right? So that's where Digital Ocean took this initiative and started off this Oktoberfest. And it all started in 2014. Okay. Now, 2023, it's like the 10th year, I guess, if I'm so that was 2014 was the inception. They started off with like fewer folks. In 2015 to 2017, it all started off like a bit. It gradually started booming, and 2015 and 2017 is actually the one where I got exposed to the Hacktoberfest. So it was my college days, and that's where I also got to learn about Hacktoberfest. So it was like still in the early growth stage. Now, 2018 and 2019, it actually, it's word of like these are all from the wiki, but the I just wanted to convey the importance it has been. Like it's 10 years, and it's like 10 years and it's still there. That means it's kind of an important thing right now, and it will flourish in the future as well. So you already know how open source is what and like why it came into picture and still there. So that's kind of important for developers to know about it. Okay. Now in 2019 also, like in the pandemic era, it was still there. Now what 2021 and beyond, like 2023 is what we have, like more and more organizers coming in, more and more sponsors working it towards it, and to enhance or to address the fallbacks, what is missing, what needs to add, uh, to bring people, more and more people, educate them, to bring awareness about it. So these are the factors like which like it's still growing right now, and they are like rewarding also, like the participants feel motivated when they are rewarded, so it's always there. There's a lot of communities that are coming up to bring awareness, so resourceful has done a very great job right now. And it's always good to see newer and newer communities coming up, right? So why is it important now, right? And this was like the entire history of it. Now, a lot of question is being asked by the folks, like, is it worth it? Like, because many people are still in the stigma of, okay, we'll do projects, we'll work towards our semesters, we'll sit in the placements. What's the use of open source? Why even considering it, right? A lot of folks have this question, right? It does any of you have this question? I just wanted to see if any of you have this question. Like, is it worth it? Do I should I consider this as like contributing or learning about it? Nobody has this question. Is it worth it? Okay, so everybody feels that it is important enough, right? Yeah, that's one of the reasons you have joined the session as well. So I believe you already must be of the perception that yeah, it's worth it. I'll tell you the reasons why it is worth it. Is first of all, I already mentioned that it promotes the open source culture. Again, open source culture meaning you get exposed to a lot of open projects, open softwares. So there are like couple of libraries. So you guys are developers mostly, I believe, or designers mostly, I believe. So you must be using a lot of libraries, right? Those libraries are actually sometimes open source. So you can actually go on and visit their code. You can see their code, how it is actually built, that particular library. So it's kind of fascinating also, right? The library which you are using, how is that library built? You can actually go into that source code, and if you feel that this library is not working in some way, or this has some bug, or this needs improvement, you can actually go on to that library ka source code and you can actually contribute to it. I'll tell you how you contribute, but the idea is that you work towards that library, or you have some idea, or you have this curiosity of solving that particular bug. So in our industry, it's always like that, right? It's never like, it's not always building a product from scratch. It's also somewhere deep down, it's also the importance of solving problems, right? It's all about problem solving, right? So if you see there's a problem existing in particular software or solution, you work towards it. So that's how open source like is relevant, or it is important in that, right? Second is like community building. I already told you a community is actually very, very, very important because it brings in more like-minded people. It brings in more people who have already worked on that. So a lot of folks who are seniors to you would be joining in the community. So you get to interact with them. You get to ask your questions, right? You get to understand why is it important. So everything you do, like you should question, right? That why is it even important to me? Why should I do it? So that's where you get your answers. Okay. So community is very important because a lot of times when you start off, you have a lot of questions. So that's where it gets solved. So community is very important. Right, and also it helps you in networking. You get to know a lot of people who will support you. Okay, your friends might not know a couple of things, but your community folks or your networking skills would help you in achieving that, right? So that's where it is important. And Hacktoberfest is encouraging that. Okay. Now, third thing is skill development. Everything is about skills. Okay. Whatever you do, whatever you work on, it's all about how skillful you are in solving things, how efficiently you are doing things. So it ultimately boils down to your skill, right? And Hacktoberfest encourages you to develop those skills. Okay, encourages you to uh, chisel out your whatever skills you have, and enhance it. So Hacktoberfest is actually important because it helps in your skill. Fourth is showcasing your projects, because a lot of times what happens is like many of times when you reach your fourth years, right? Fourth year ka semester, a lot of times they ask what was your project. Even when you sit in your placements, they ask you what was your project, right? So if you contribute to a great project, like if you contribute to the Linux that is already there, I mean, it's the world's most what do I call, like it's the world's most skillful project that you have worked on, even if you have just did a patch on it. By patch meaning that it's just a one line code that you have contributed to, and that has a great impact on the Linux that we are using. So that also actually is a great project to showcase, because it's not always that you need to create something from the scratch, or you need to build some next Facebook or something. It's also the minor things that is impactful, right? Even if it's a one line code, and if it is impactful, that means it's a great thing. Okay, and you should showcase it, even if it's a one line code and okay. So Hacktoberfest is a great way to showcase your projects. And fourth, like fifth, I already mentioned that it's networking, community building. It's the same thing. Global reach is a one. I actually mentioned this because what happens is you shouldn't be tightly coupled with your own communities, right? You shouldn't be tightly coupled with the folks that you are seeing or you are engaging with, or in India you should also interact with people who is outside India. What if they are helpful in later down, years of your life? That's actually a slow process. You should build a kind of a relationship. And how do you make a relationship into the developer community? Is like how much reach you have, right? How much you are interacting and engaging. And Oktoberfest is a great way to engage in globally, because what happens is when you contribute to a project, right? And that project might not be handled by a Indian folk or a member of like some community that you know already. It might be that it's based out of some uh, other country folk or anywhere else, right? Now, what happens is when you contribute there, or when you develop something, or when you add some features on to that project, which is not belonging to the community which you engage with, so they actually see you. They actually see your like commits. I mean, see your contributions. Okay, and they actually judge you from that. Not in the sense of judging means, in the sense that if they find it relevant, right, they might as well engage with you further, right? If you are making a impactful or making a great you know um, great contribution, they'll actually invite you to some communities, or they'll invite you to some close groups where they'll be interacting a lot, where they'll be talking about more of the startups or things like that, right? I suppose you are understanding what I'm trying to say here. So global reach is one where Hacktoberfest is creating a great impact. And then it also boils down to the recognition that you will have once you create impactful things, or you contribute great things, or you solve problems. So you get recognized also. So if you're doing great, or if you're solving good problems, like nobody is stopping you to get recognized, because it's always visible to everybody. Like it's always open source, so everybody knows you, and everybody knows like what contributions you are doing. So if you are doing great, you get recognized. That's it. And then also it has career benefits. I said that it helps you in showcasing your good projects. So it also helps in your career benefits. It goes both ways. And the last, it's kind of a developer festival. So we celebrate festivals with our friends, families, but this Hacktoberfest is like a developer festival where all the developers comes in, and everybody is in that mode of coding, solving problems, uh, creating impact. So that's it's kind of fun as well. A quick question: how many of you are actually very excited about Hacktoberfest? I would want to know. Okay, okay, great. Great, great. Nice. Amazing. Amazing. I would want to know about other folks as well. Like, are you guys not interested, or like we are not looking forward to the Hacktoberfest? Or you guys are sleeping, like it's late. Cool, cool. Okay, just kidding. So okay, let this load. Okay. Meanwhile, it loads. So these are the things that Hacktoberfest, like it's a great significance once you get involved in Hacktoberfest or uh, once you code in the open source community. So these were it. I'll quickly show you the statistics of the last year. This is open for me. Okay. Now, I'll tell you one fascinating fact about it. Okay. And quickly just look at it. So these were the registered users last year, and these were the top countries that who participated in. Just look at the percentage of the India, like it's 47.48%. It's like half of the users last year who registered on the Hacktoberfest were from India. Okay. Now it's a proud moment for us as well. Like the biggest or the greatest communities come from India, and we should all take a moment and be proud of it. And this is the power of community. It's actually increasing, and it's inviting more folks to join in, right? Because it's ultimately the goal is that everybody solves problem and everybody creates great softwares because it requires a combined effort. It's not always one developer who is working on the entire product. It's always a combined effort, and that's where we need good developers or good folks. Okay, so this was the stats from India, and and you can see like the other countries are 2%, 3%, 1%. Okay, and the next good thing is like how many of them were registered, how many of them were engaged, or how many of them completed. But it's quite disappointing a bit as well because the number of folks who registered were like quite a 54.7%, but only 37.7% could complete it. So it's always important that if you start something, like it's always good that you should complete as well. It's that uh, if you're excited enough, you should also complete it till the end, right? You shouldn't just be like, okay, register kar liya, so that's it. No, you should complete it, and it will also encourage you to, you know, solve more things or contribute to more things. So yeah, that was the stats about the last year. And also I'll tell you the platforms which where it this is active, like the Hacktoberfest is active is on GitHub and GitLab. Most of the folks are on GitHub, so you can see 99% of the registered users are from GitHub. GitHub is very popular. You can use GitHub and you can use other platforms as well. But yeah, GitHub is widely used, so you'll get more projects there, or you'll get more, places to contribute there on GitHub. And then we have, okay, yeah, this is the place where it shows how many of them were newbie, what percentage of them were experienced. You can see like 55.96% were a newbie. Okay. Now, see, everything is like everybody is trying to understand things. So it's great to have newbies, but you should always also take the next step. Okay, you shouldn't always remain a newbie. I understand if you're a newbie, take your time. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take your time. Take your time as much as you need, but always keep in mind you have to take a next step moving forward, right? So it's very important again, complete what you're starting off so that you can take a next step, or you can think about your next goals. Right. That was one thing which I wanted to share. And okay, the next thing which I want to share. Okay, just before that, how many of you know already what is a PR or what is a MR? So basically, pull request or merge request. How many of you already know? So we have 53 participants. I need a majority of them. So that okay, okay. 12 participants. What like everybody else? Like what is PR? What is Emma? Last day you guys learned about it, right? I suppose. Okay. Just to reiterate, like what is a PR, what is a MR is a request, pull request or a merge request. This is a request. In layman terms, if I have to say that you are creating a request to a developer who you are contributing to a developer meaning to a project that you are contributing to. You are asking him, who is the maintainer of that project, that hey, this is a request that I have actually added something or I have solved this thing. Please accept my request. This kind of request that we are sharing. So once you have coded the solution, you are actually initiating a request that please, add on to your project so that it goes like into the main project. It gets added in the main project. Okay. So you see how many accepted peers or MRs the ratio is like. Uh, okay. Yeah. So how many of them had four PRs? What was the range of PRs that people had? I so I can see like one PR is fine, two PR is fine, three PR is fine. Four PR we have like 30,000, whatever it is, which is the maximum. And then five PRs is gradually decreasing. Six PRs, the amount of people who are doing is gradually decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. It's again like not a good sign because the graph should be like this, right? Not like this. I mean, it shouldn't be like this. It should grow, right? So it's not always that just because it's Hacktoberfest and it requires 4 PRs, I'll add only 4 PRs and I'll close this. No, you should add more PRs. Like, think of it as a game, right? Contribute more. So look at things more. What else? What else do we have? What else? What are the problems that we should solve next? So just look at. Don't focus on the quantity. I mean, as in also like there are two things of it. Put the 4 PRs which Hacktoberfest is expecting. And the second thing is like quality over quantity as well. So you should also focus on the quality, whatever you are raising the PR. So, okay. So there are two things which I wanted to highlight. If I have to show you more, uh, these are the ratio, like 58.48% were accepted. So I'll tell you there are stages, right, of a PR. So it can get accepted, it can get not accepted as well. So once you have like raised a request, like a pull request or a merge request, it might be the case that it is not accepted, or it they can ask you to reform your PR. Like it's kind of a rework they'll ask you to do. So these are the things. There are excluded. Also, there is an invalid PR as well. So these are certain things. I Great. So these were the bits of stats that I wanted to show. I wouldn't take much time here. So I'll quickly go on to the next slide. Okay. How many of you are excited to get started? Like, how do we even get started or have this question or query in mind that karna kaise hai? Okay. 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 Great. So, typically what you require is like a GitHub account. Um, you should be you should get going. First, what you need to do is you need to register in the Hacktoberfest and familiarize yourself with the rules. So it is very important that you know the rules before you're participating in. because it's like a game. You can consider it as a developer game, develop a fun thing. It's a festival. So first of all, you should know the rules, and I'll show you this Hacktoberfest site which they have created, and it's very fascinating because like they have this theme every year. So it's this year they have this theme. I mean, it's quite like a game, right? These pictures and all. I'll quickly show you the rules where it is. Okay, yeah. So, what you need to do is register anytime between September 26 and October 31. We still have time. It's still October 7. You can register anytime before October 31st. Pull requests can be made in the GitHub or GitLab. Okay, and hosted projects that's participating in the Hacktoberfest. Okay, so there are two sides of it. I believe you will fall right now in the contributor section. There are folks who is a maintainer section, like as in people who have actually hosted some projects where you will be contributing. So the maintainers have certain projects and they have to add a label Hacktoberfest there. So and they also need to follow some rules to get their projects, associated with the Hacktoberfest. They have certain rules that they should follow, otherwise it gets excluded in the Hacktoberfest. You as a contributor, what you need to do is you need to check out those Hacktoberfest ka projects, like if you want to participate in the Hacktoberfest. So look for the Hacktoberfest ka project. Okay. Now, the project maintainers, what they'll do is they'll accept your pull request or the merge request for them to count towards your total. Okay. So it's like to consider as the like it's not like you have raised a PR or MR and you are done. It's not that case. They should also accept your PR. Okay. So it is a valid PR only when it gets accepted, and it will get counted once it is accepted only. Okay. So getting that acceptance is very important. This has to be done from the maintainer side. So you have raised your peer as a contributor from your side, but the maintainers what they will do is they'll accept your peer. And if it's a good one, like if they like it and if they have accepted it, that gets counted in your you know count of your PRs. Okay. The first 50,000 participants who have their peers accepted will have a tree planted. So if you fall under the 50,000 participants globally who have solved those peers, like who have got their peers accepted, will have their tree planted on the ending. And it's a good thing, right? Uh, you get a chance to contribute to the nature as well. So, and participants with four accepted between October 1 and October 31 will receive a unique digital room. So that will, I believe this is a badge kind of thing that will get added to your GitHub profile, and it's a great way to showcase your contribution that you have like worked towards the open source. It's a good thing. Okay. So far, any questions that you have? Like, I'm just blabbering things, and I want to make sure that we are understanding things. So far, any questions or anything? Anything you want to share at the moment? Anyone? No. So, how many of you guys are still with me? Just to raise a hands. Okay, great. Great. Next thing is okay. Next thing is what once you have registered yourself, what you need to do is you need to find projects, right? So finding the open source projects and the issues that you are interested in and you would like to contribute is the next thing you need to do. Okay. You have registered yourself. Next thing is you have to find the good projects or the projects that are relevant to you. Okay. Now, how do you even find the open source projects? There is a couple of ways of doing it. We have this GitHub Explore. I'll just go into this link. If you see, there are certain topics based or the trendings based. There are featured topics. There are couple of projects. These are like high level projects. You can choose to ignore. But there are couple of good beginner friendly projects as well. You need to find it out. I'll tell you in the later sections, but these are like certain topics that you can consider. There are certain trending things, trending, repositories. You can actually skim through it, like see what are the trending topics. It's not always that if you are not understanding these repositories, uh, don't get demotivated. You can just skim through it. You can just see there's contributions. Okay. So if I open any of these, open AI, let's say, okay. So I can just go on and see what people are doing, right? I can learn from that also. So it's a very good thing if you do that. You can, okay, there are always beginner friendly ones in the big projects as well. So you can seek that also. So these are things that you can see what actually is trending, and yeah, you can explore. The next good thing is that you can also search your Hacktoberfest, and it will list down all the repositories who have this label as Hacktoberfest. So it's very important that this label should be there. Okay, this Hacktoberfest ka label should be there. Okay, to contribute, I'll tell you how to contribute it. But for finding the open source projects, you can just use this way of it. Okay, you search Hacktoberfest and you see a lot of projects. You can just skim through it, just look at it, what projects it is they have added, or where you can actually contribute. There are certain beginner friendly ones also where you need to just you know add one piece of code or change something. That's just for beginning. That's just for getting you started. But I'll also encourage you to give uh, or add meaningful contributions. Okay, that's only like adding a comma or adding a mistake. That's only one time just to get yourself started. That should be only once. Okay, you shouldn't create a PR like fixing grammars or fixing things. 4 PRs you have created just for fixing grammars. I honestly don't recommend that. Do meaningful contributions. It's also the way of learning things, also, right? We are learning things. So you should just see what you can be good at with, right? You need to develop yourself. You need to add on to your skills. So it's also important that you are learning meanwhile, right? You already know that this is the way you have to do it. This is the way you have to contribute. Next step is add some meaningful contributions. Matlab, add certain features, solve some certain bugs, right? So these are certain meaningful contributions that I can see. Okay. Okay. Sure. I'll take up sort of questions at the end. Like if you have, you can post here in the chat as well. I'll take that. Okay. So these are certain places where you can find. There is a directory also, open source directory. You can find out based on the based on languages also, like based on the if you're interested, if you're a Java developer, if you're interested in contributing to some Java projects, you can look for Java projects. If you're interested into, like, let's say JavaScript projects, so it's also language based specific. It's also uh, theme based specific. Like if you're into backend, if you're front end, if you're into design, if you're into management. It has open source have all kind of projects. You just need to find out. You just need to discover them, right? And yeah, these are kind of directory. You can just explore this. Okay. Uh, Next thing is like there are certain organizations as well. Uh, Open source organizations, Mozilla, Linux, and Apache. They have their code available. They have their entire open source available. Just look at them. They also host some, uh, you know, events where they ask people to register and contribute, right? So Google also hosted. They have this Google Source Summer of Code. I'm sorry. They have this Girl Script Summer of Code is also there. Girl Script Winter of Code is there. Outreach is there. There are couple of organizations who are organizing these events time to time. So you can just look through them as well. Um, Finding out the open source projects is the next thing that you should. Third thing you should do is you're setting up your development environment. Like once you have thought about the project that you want to contribute to, or you believe that you this is the one that I wish to contribute to. Third thing is set up your development environment. Like if you're working on Python, set up your Python environment. Like if choose any ID of your choice, then set up GitHub, then set up your virtual environment, right? So these things you should be prepared with. Like it's just a, what do I say? It's like you should get yourself prepared with that. That's kind of toolkit that you should have. You should be ready with. Okay. Next is make your contribution. Okay. Once you have settled up with your development environment, next thing, the main thing is that you should start your contribution. Okay. Starting your contribution, again, I'll tell you how to do that. As of now, you can just think it in a way that you need to fork the repository where you need to contribute to. Then you need to, clone it and code whatever you need to work on. And then you need to submit a pull request. As simple as that. Next, next thing is track your progress and complete the challenge. Like if we are talking about Hacktoberfest only, so track where you are, how many of how what are the PRs that are getting accepted, what are the comments that are coming up, what are the discussions that are happening in your PR. Like uh, there are there's I'll show you, but there's a discussion section also where folks would be commenting, who folks would be talking more about the issue, talking more about the work you have presented. So you should engage there as well. It's the thing you should keep track of, and you should be responsive enough when you are doing that, right? And next is complete the challenge, and then you can share whatever you have done until now. Okay. This we already discussed. Finding the open source projects, you have several online coding communities. You have like you can skim through the contribution platforms. There are hackathons and conferences that are happening regarding this. Then there are projects you can look for based on your personal interest, right? If you want to work on some game based projects, just look for game based projects. Just search. Like it's just a search engine that GitHub has provided. You need to just type and search, right? Okay, this is the main thing, and it should be labeled as Hacktoberfest. That's it. To participate in your Hacktoberfest. Okay. Next thing is, yeah, engage in communities. They might have some projects that you can contribute to, and yeah, this is how you'll find out open source projects. Time to share some tips. You can like obviously people would have some questions who would want to know more about uh, things and how what Hacktoberfest have to uh, show, or how Hacktoberfest would improve, uh, make an improvement for them. Okay, start by considering tip number one. Start by considering your interest and passion, because that is something that will keep you motivated, right? Uh, so it's you should always think in a direction that if if I have to participate in something, I should find out what is the section or what is the area that I would be willing to. I would go next mile, right? I even if it is asked for something, I'll go next mile uh, with that because I'm interested in that, right? So keep that fire within you, keep that curiosity within you, keep that passion within you in solving things. Okay. Uh, I mean, it's like search your interest, like seek your whatever you're interested in, and search for it, and then look how you can solve it. Okay, that will make you keep going. Okay. Tip number two, do skill assessment and define goals. Meaning, you need to uh, look where you are, right? So, if let's say you are a beginner who is just starting off, okay, you need to first your main goal is, how do I make a contribution, how to just to grasp about the environment. You can think about, yeah, how do I get started. Okay, let's contribute something, a very minor change, to just to see how this whole thing works. So you know where you are and what you need to do next. So skill assessment is very important. Now, folks who have actually contributed before and who have actually worked on things before need to see that what next great project that I can contribute to, or what are the certain issues that can help me in you know understanding more about the project, or that can help me improve in my particular skill, or particular language, or particular uh, anything like particular environment. So you need to keep check on where you are right now and decide what is the next thing you can pick up so that you can grow. Okay. So set goals. Okay. This is applicable everywhere in your personal life as well, in the Hacktoberfest also. Like define goals, like where what is the next goal you want to do? What is the next thing you want to do? Okay. So divide the tasks, like, yeah, you need to search for this project, or if you're interested in particular thing, I need to search for this thing. Okay. Or you can just randomly go on that repositories and try to learn. So learning is also a goal. Okay. It's the biggest goal. The entire thing is about learning, and you're upskilling yourself. So define your goals in that manner. Do a skill assessment and keep a check on where you are, and always take the next mile. Okay. Tip number three is ask questions. Okay. You're just starting off, or you're stuck somewhere, ask questions, ask a lot of questions. Okay. You have to keep yourself, uh, unblocked here. Okay. So you shouldn't be stuck somewhere. So for resolving that, ask as many questions, whatever questions you have. Ask relevant questions. It's also a skill that you uh be prepared with what you are asking also. Like let's say, there's something that you can Google it out. There are certain things that even Google can't answer. So just first do your research and ask relevant questions. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So I already mentioned about the discuss section in the GitHub, right? If you go in the GitHub, there's a discuss section. So where every discussions is happening relevant to the project, relevant to the issues, relevant to the PRs. Okay. There in the discussion itself, you can ask the questions pertaining to that project, or you can ask pertaining to that issue. So you can always like and community is such that the maintainers will answer your queries. Okay. So yeah, you can leverage that discuss section to ask your questions. And also there are communities, or also there, make use ample use of Reddit, Stack Overflow, whatever discussion forums are there, right? They are built for you. Okay, they are built for you to ask questions, and people out there are ready for answering them. Okay. Sometimes it's also, you can answer queries as well based on your time, or based on how much you are interested in. But yeah, to ask questions, to get them clarified, it's a great way if you are utilizing that forums. Okay. Next step is step number four, read the README and documentations. So whenever you're contributing to any project, right, or whenever you are thinking of choosing any project, or you are thinking of solving any issues, there are quite a lot of chances that the README or the documentations have some things important specified. So do make sure that you are reading them, Make sure that you are reading the documentations, you are making ample use of it. Learn about the project that you are working on. It's very important that you know what you are working on and get yourself uh, fully immersed into that project. Not fully immersed, I would say, but get the workaround of it, like get the insights of it, what this is doing, what that is doing, and pertaining to your issues, like whatever you are solving, you should be very thorough about it. So yeah, documentations and README, read them just before you contribute to any of the projects. Tip number five, experiment and learn. It's all about learning. So you shouldn't take a backseat on the experimentations. Okay, just do the stuff, do stuffs, and take that extra mile. Okay, you just learn, and then you fail sometimes, but you also learn. Even if a PR is not getting accepted, you learn from the mistakes, right? Yeah, this is the reason. I should keep that in mind next time when I raise a PR. So experiment with it, okay, and have fun. Like, don't just take into a serious thing, but have fun with it. Okay, it's like it's just game around with it. Okay. Brownie points, just make sure you be clear about project's purpose. We vary about the project's activity, so you should be up to date with the discussions, commits, issues, contributions, like relevant to your contributions, or as well you can look into other issues also. But take care that you are keeping yourself up to date. Okay. Make efficient use of issue trackers. So so this was one issue label I showed you, right? Yeah, this is kind of a label. If you see these things, these are labels. Okay, so if you can see, this is first timers. So there is something called good friendly issue also. So you can just Google it, not Google it out. Just search here good or friendly issues, good friendly issues. So you will get a lot of first timers. So these are certain labels you can search for and get some recommendations. So you can have a look at that. Okay. Next is yeah, matlab be responsive to the maintainer's response as well, because there are a lot of folks who is participating. Okay. Now, if one issue you are taking 5 days of time to reply, that's a discouraging thing, right? So if you are taking up issues, be attentive and be responsive to the discussions that are happening, or reply promptly, right? Don't Even if you're just working on it, just make everybody informed that you are working on this issue, and I'm taking care of it. You should always add relevant comments. Okay, that will help others also to know what you are working on. To keep others as well updated that acha, this guy is working on it. So let's not let's not take this up issue, take this issue. So that's how you solve things. So be responsive, be be very whatever everybody is like. If people are tagging you, just reply them promptly. Okay. And yeah, last thing, engage with community. I've already told a couple of times. Frequently asked questions. I'll highlight what people mostly ask, like they have this doubt in mind. This I'll skip. Open source, you already know. How can you get started? Also, I have covered. You choose a project that interests you. You review their contribution guidelines. You make some contributions like bug fixes or documentation updates, and then you engage. So that's how you get started with open source contributions. Do I need to be okay? This question is asked like many a times, that do I need to be a programmer to contribute to open source? No, you don't have to be a programmer. Contributions can be anything, be it design, be it documentations, be it testing. So there are a lot of things there that you can contribute to. Okay, it's not always about code. You can contribute to many other things as well. So a product is not just about code. Also, it's about the overall software overall solution. So if I talk about Paytm is not just backend, right? It's about other things as well. It's about machine learning as well. It's about design as well, UX, UI. It's everything, right? So you can contribute based on your interests, based on what you feel you want to learn. So yeah, that's what it is. How do I find open source? I already shared like GitHub, GitLab. You can make use of. You can use filters. You can make use of the search and explore, right? What are some good practices for effective open source contributions? Good practices are like you should always follow the project guidelines. Okay, they have their documentations prepared. This is one of their requirement as a maintainer. So they should be ready with the documentation. Your job as a contributor is that you follow their project guidelines and maintain clear and respectful communication. So um, communication is a good skill. So you should be very thoughtful about what you're speaking in a forum and how you're presenting yourself. So don't be rude. Don't use the prohibited words. Be respectful. And just as how industry works, right? If you're joining an industry or if you're joining a certain company, you're expected of a certain behavior, right? To be well mannered or to present yourself in a well way. Similarly, in the open source community, also you have to present it in a good way. You shouldn't be like okay. Next thing is you should thoroughly test your contributions. Like it's important thing because you have coded something, but it's always that you add certain test cases or you test that out before even you raise a PR. So that's some good practices and. Yeah, I think pull request everybody knows. How do I choose a right open source project? Again, it's based on the factors like your interests, skills, goals, community engagement, and project relevance to your personal or professional growth. Uh, Next thing is how do I handle code reviews and feedback on my contributions? So yeah, so every time you are raising a PR or MR, there are maintainers who will be looking into your request, right? And they might as well comment on your PR or MR that hey, this doesn't looks good, or you can change in this manner, you can reform this a bit. So reiterate on their comments, like that's how in the industry also works. Like whenever if you join a certain company, if you're contributing to a particular code, there will be review comments on your merge request. Okay, so next job for you is to resolve those comments. You need to understand those comments, that what other people have commented, and you need to understand and resolve them, that okay, now I should change this, or I should change the variable names. Okay, it's based on the comment types. So next thing is you again raise a PR with your modified solution. And next time, if the PR looks good, fine, to the maintainers, they'll accept it. So this is the entire process of code reviews or the feedbacks on your contribution. Okay. What is code of conduct and why is it important? Code of conduct is like the in the open source community, there's something called code of conduct. Code of conduct is just that you should follow certain guidelines. You should be respectful. You should be welcoming. You should be supportive enough to support other folks. That's it, right? And skip this part. Okay. How do I report an issue or bug in an open source project? Okay, there are not always that you have to solve problems. There can be you can also contribute to finding out issues in that project, right? So as I mentioned earlier as well, if a library you are using, do not find something appropriate, or you can you want it to be in a different way, like this could have handled in a better way. You can create issues, like you can go on that open source project of that library. You can open an issue, like create an issue that hey, this doesn't feel good. Like this can be done in this way. I'll show you an example of that as well. So if I go into this, like a sample repository, uh, there is certain some a section called issues. Okay. Now, if you want to create a certain issue, you can always go on and create a new issue. So they see if there are certain issues that have already been created, import of music and video. So people, okay, they have not shared what exactly is the issue, but yeah, the people also share what is the issue all about, and other folks who wish to contribute comment on that. That hey, please assign me this. I want to do this. Okay. Uh, yeah, and this is it. I believe everybody now know what is a maintainer and contributor. I'll skip this. How do you deal with conflicts or disagreements with open source? So, when many often times there is something called a conflict that okay, there are two things like it's the discussions that you're having, and it's like the merge conflicts. Like once you're raising a request and it's somehow gets conflicted with the existing code. So, how do you resolve them? Uh, it's like if you're improving or if you're changing something, you should always comment on that and you should make sure that you're merging the previous code and your new code as well. So it's like you're modifying the code such that it will not create a problem while when it is getting accepted. Okay, it's just that, and respectful in the sense like whenever you are having discussions, be respectful. That is the conflicts in the or disagreements in the discussions. So you should keep in mind. Common mistakes is people do is code compatibility issues. The problem is your code may not be compatible with different operating systems or libraries. Resolution is that you should test your like as I focused more on that. You should test your code before raising a PR. You should test in the different environments or use the version specific features and like you should be that should be compatible enough, right? So make sure that you're testing it out in all possible ways and you are commenting also that whatever you have tested out. So if you have tested out in let's say if you're contributing into an Android application, right? So things can be that a particular Android version it is supporting, it is not supporting in the other world, other versions. Okay. So you should be like prompt like you should actively share this that this works on this is the fix for this versions and this is tested in this versions, so be active on that, right? And you should test like as much as you can, like keeping in mind all the scenarios. Next thing is coding style and standards. The common mistakes is that your code may not adhere to the project's coding style and standards. Like, let's say what the project is expecting you to have certain standards like good variable names or should follow certain design patterns. So that's where you learn, right? Problem resolution is that familiarize yourself what is expected out of a project and then you follow them, right? So you see that what is wrong if the variable name is incorrect and this is expected, I should change that. So you should make sure that your whatever you are coding that is very relevant or it's matching with whatever current implementation is there. So if they are following certain design patterns and if you don't know them, learn about them and implement in your solution. Okay, that's how you do it. Next thing is many a times, often your contributions may be rejected. Don't get disheartened. It's the chance to learn. Okay. So be open to feedback, address the issues, whatever it is raised, right? Address them and make sure that you are doing it properly or you are actually solving the main focus area where it got rejected. Okay. Next thing is lack of documentations. Many a times your contributions may lack specific documentations. So make sure you document your work. You add proper comments. You should add more explanations in the discussions, like discuss sections, as I said. So make sure you do that. Okay, it helps other developers as well who is going. Testing issues, many a times your code may lack proper testing, which may add on to more bugs in the current software solution, right? So again, it's all about how much like test cases you are adding. If you don't know them, na, if you should learn them. Like it's always a learning thing. So there are things that if you don't know them, learn them and then implement it. That's how it is. So if you have to add unit tests, learn about them, how to add unit tests. If you're working on a Java project, like, and if you have added some piece of code, you need to write some tests, learn about them, like learn about what is required, or there is possibility that some other test has already been there in the current implementation in the current project. So make sure you skim through that existing test cases and okay, this is the way they have added. Okay, now I kind of replicate the same way of doing it and implement in my solution. That's how you do it. Okay. Next thing is communication problems. I believe everybody would tackle this. Like there are a lot of misunderstandings, miscommunications, but you make sure you present yourself and clarify them, whatever the your ideas are there or whatever you need to solve. Okay. You lot of folks ask their project specific no thing that they may lack in depth knowledge of the project architectural domain. Resolution is invest time. It's not always quick solution. Acha, this is the problem. I'll solve it right now. No, learn about it. Like invest time that what the project is demanding, what the project is about. Read the documentation. And if you're stuck somewhere, okay, this is the part where I'm not understanding. Seek guidance, ask questions from other communities or from the open forums that are there. So that's how you invest time and make significant contributions. So I always emphasize this make significant contributions because it's very important that whatever contributions you are making is a good one, right? It's not just fixing commas. It's just only for your one time, first time. That should only be your first time because if you are just starting off. Okay. Now there are things that project there are pitfalls in the maintainer side as well. Like the project's contribution guidelines is not clear or it's not understandable. So ask maintainers for clarification and they should be good enough to do that. There can be the process can be slow. Like once you have raised a PRMR, the process can take some time. Be patient. I believe maintainers also have to see a lot of issues or see a lot of the PRs or MRs. So it may be intimidating for them as well. So make sure you be patient. That will get resolved sooner or later. Okay. Merge conflicts, this is the one thing that you should learn about that your changes may be conflicting with the project, the initial project, whatever code it has been written. So what you do is like you synchronize your piece of code, like whatever you are implementing and whatever is already existing there, you synchronize the conflicts. Like, okay, this line is being changed here. So what should be the new update of that line? Okay, this should be a combination of this. So this is how I should keep this in the final one. So that's how you resolve it. It's a separate discussion altogether of solving conflicts, but yeah, you can Google it out anytime you want. Let's skip this. And skip this. Okay, this is important. Being overwhelmed. Sometimes what happens is you get overwhelmed because of so many issues, so many peers. Make sure you set your realistic goals. Okay, it's like you know where you are, as I said, and you know that okay, this much I'll try to achieve. Next step is this much. Next step is this much. So manage accordingly. Set realistic expectations and then manage your time. That's one thing. Certain etiquettes that you need to follow, because before even you, okay, this is something which I already shared. Make respectful and ethical contributions. Then avoid your spam and low quality contributions. So there has been a past experiences that people have been spamming contributions. Okay, spamming a lot of things in repositories. So don't do that. It's like very discouraging in the community, and as a developer, you shouldn't be doing that, right? Third thing is report issues and code of conduct. We vary about the code of conduct. We vary about the project guidelines, whatever you are contributing to, understand the structure. And the last one is support each other. It's very important to support each other because we are working towards a common goal, right? Everybody is working towards the same goal. Everybody is working. So everybody's contribution is important because it is like cumulative efforts that we are doing for a particular project or the entire community. So support it. This is where I'll take some time to make like show you a demo how you can make your first contribution. So I have one maintainer project. I'll just this the maintainer's account and this the okay, yeah, this is my account. This is a maintenance account. What I'll do is like, let's say I want to contribute to this project, okay, Android learning project. What I'll do is like, first of all, I'll fork it. So so let's say I'll fork it. I'll copy this link. This is the one. What I'll do is I'll first of all fork it. Fork. I believe everybody knows. Please show me a raise of hands that everybody knows. Okay. Cool. So, okay, this takes a bit of time. Uh, What I'll do is I'll create a fork, and then the next step is that I'll clone into my source directory. It means I'll use a terminal and I'll clone it. Now, okay, let's create the one issue from the maintainer side. Okay, this is the maintainer's account, and let's say the maintainer has created one issue of create a readme file. Okay. Create a readme file. Okay, they might add description here, but it's like just showing you an example, so that should be fine. So I have cloned this into my account, and I'll just go through that. And this is my entire project. And what I'll do is I'll create a README file. Okay, I'll just add some adding README. Okay, this is one change that I'm trying to do. Okay, the change is like you can see that I've added one file. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll add this. I believe everybody have learned this in your audio session. So what I'll do is I'll add it and then I'll commit it. Hit adding the readme file. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll push it. Push originally. So what this will do is will one second. And this will push into my cloned repository. So I I have cloned this, right? The one See, this will show that your branch is one commit ahead of the main branch. Like this was a repository the maintainer ka main branch, and our branch is one commit ahead. It means we have added some uh, contribution. So like you can see this, right? Adding the next step is what I'll do is I'll create a PR. Okay. So I'll create a PR. I'll initiate a new pull request and I'll add this. So so everything is in place. You just need to create the pull request. And you need to leave a comment at what you are solving. So let's say you should be descriptive as possible. So I have added the file, readme. So everything you should mention. And even before that, uh, even before picking an issue, right? You should be uh, s- asking the community that, hey, I wish to solve this issue. Can I pick this? I just missed this point. I'm just saying it now. That you should comment this. And once the maintainer assigns an issue to you, so they have this option of assigning, right? They'll assign this to you, and yeah, I chose the maintainer. I thought I should note down this. Here I should add uh, AI wish to pick this. Okay. This is from the contributors account. I accidentally did it from the maintainers account. So this you will comment as a contributor. As a maintainer, what he'll do is he'll assign this to you. So see this option of contributor is coming. So he will assign to you once he is assigned an issue. Like let's say he has assigned an issue, you can pick this up and then solve it. So just as a way we were doing it here. Okay. Now once you have pushed it, the point where we were creating the PR, you will add descriptions that, hey, I have added the file readme, please check. Okay. This one thing, and you will create a PR. Okay. Now this PR in the maintainer's account, he will see here. Okay. See, this is coming up opened now by Kushian. So this was a maintainers account, and I as a contributor have added one PR. Now the maintainer's responsibility is that he will review the PR and he will accept it. So far so good. Like, are you guys with me or like you understood? Oh, that was how you do your first contribution. It was as simple as that, right? I'll skip this part because I've already talked about uh, everything in the demo sessions. What's next? The most important question is like once you're done with the Hacktoberfest, uh, what else? Like, am I done? Answer is no. You should keep yourself. You should continue contributing. You should explore other open source events. Share your experience. It's. I cannot emphasize enough that you should maintain your blogs. Back then in my college days, I used to maintain a blog, whatever I used to learn or whatever I used to work on. So I have this blog. I still have like I still recall like me after the Hacktoberfest was done, sharing all the stuffs that I have done in the blog and what else, what I have learned. How even created a blog of how to create a PR, how to these things. Like even if you know that there are tons of blogs out there, but just do for your own sake. Just do for documenting your own work, right? So it's very important. Share your experience. It's not a bad thing that it's already there. You shouldn't be doing it. It's for your own sake. It's for your own learning and it's for your own profile, right? So you should keep doing the stuffs. You should keep exploring new technologies. Contributions are not just about your own skill that you are confident of. It's also exploring newer technologies, newer areas where you need to work on or where you want to work on. So that's also a you should keep doing it through open source. Again, start your own project. as you have done enough as a contributor, now you can also be a maintainer, right? So start your own project, host your own project, build something as a MVP. Now ask people to solve issues in your projects, right? It's a great way of engaging, and it's a great way to encourage others or newbies or everybody others, or you get some ideas from other folks, right? Or of your own project. So keep doing that, keep supporting others also, and keep learning yourself as well. So that's how you grow again. Put like there are a lot of questions how to stay involved in open source communities. What you need to do is you need to do contributions regularly. It's not always that you have done with the Hacktoberfest and you're done. No, keep your contributions regular. Uh, Even if you don't get time, just keep a certain timeline that acha, like every month I need to do this, every week I need to do this based on your timeline. Okay, follow projects, follow good projects, because projects are too much and there are a lot of areas, and you can see through them, see projects like what others are doing, what the project is, how is it implemented. So their open source is so good that you see a lot of things, you learn from them. So make use of that. And again, these are repeated points, but engage in discussions, present and share, then seek mentorship if you are stuck anywhere. Maintain a documentation and contribute as many meaningful contributions again. And collaborate on the side projects that will add into your portfolio and your that will help in your uh, projects as well, project showcase as well. Okay. Few points to remember: you don't have to be an expert, nobody is. So keep learning, and it's not always that you should be knowing everything. It's always if you learn and then you experiment and then you do it. Okay. Give back to the community as much as possible, and network again. Take that first step. This is the one that is important. So you should take the first step and make sure that you complete it, right? Completed in the sense of a Hacktoberfest, but beyond that, keep contributing and keep growing. Okay, I'm mostly done with it. I'm so sorry it took a bit longer, but I'll leave this as a quiz time now. So the ground rules are that whoever answers first will like, will get a sticker, right? Uh, Somebody from resource your community can.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, got sticker.
Okay. So, so be very attentive. Like whatever the question comes in, you to start posting your answers, like whatever it is, A, B, C, D. Okay. Uh, Question: who co-hosted the Hacktoberfest with DigitalOcean? Options are, I'm sorry, GitHub, GitLab, Dev, Bitbucket. Who co-hosted Hacktoberfest with DigitalOcean? I'll keep 3 minutes of time or something. And okay, I already got the correct answer by Navajit. It's Dev. If you see the Hacktober ka fest, it's always the Dev community who's hosting. So the answer is Dev. Okay. Navajit. So anybody from resource, you can take note of the person who's.
Yeah, I am taking no issues.
Yeah. Next thing is, how many valid contributions does a participant need to make during Hacktoberfest to earn a reward? Or the first one to answer is Ankit Das. Congratulations, it is four. Next is, which platform is commonly used for hosting open source repositories and for finding Hacktober projects? Options are Git, Subversion, Mercurial, and Git. Okay, the first one to answer is Shubhajyoti Das, right? It is GitHub. Next is which event promotes diversity and inclusion in open source and is often aligned with Hacktoberfest? Like Open Source Summit, Outreachy, Google Summer of Code, and PyCon. Focus on diversity and inclusion. So the question is like who has the same goals as Hacktoberfest, but focusing more on the diversity. So who does that? Like, is it Subhajyoti again? Uh, yes. The answer is P. Yes. So I'll not take the name of Shobhajyoti, maybe. Okay, there's no other answers, correct answers. Okay, I already mentioned. So sorry, I should have taken somebody else's name. But that's fine. Yeah, Snehan, you are late. Okay. So, yeah, these were it. Like Outreachy, I'll tell you, Outreachy is focused more on the female developers. They host this internship program. So you actually get paid for contributing to the open source, and it's more on bringing more women in the open source community. So that is why they have built this platform or built this opportunity. So outreach is like great. So all the female developers here, or you should definitely check out outreach. Okay, it's a great thing. And then thanks, that was me, and I'm right on time, 10 o'clock. You can reach me out on LinkedIn and Twitter. That's my account. And I hope you enjoyed the session. Yeah, that's Dr. Lincoln.
If anyone has any query, then please ask. Also, we
Yeah,
have to wrap up.
I'm up for questions now, and I'll just go back to see if you have posted any questions. Okay, there are no questions. Anybody who would like to unmute themselves and share something or share what they have done until now, so you can engage. I would love to hear from you folks as well. So please feel free to unmute yourself and then share your experience until now, or how relevant was it until now, whatever the session was, and how excited are you for working towards it. Anybody would love to share experience?
Anyone can just unmute himself or herself and share his or her experience. Because you are guys doing Hacktoberfest, right? So you can Prabhuji, Devarito, anyone, Joydeep, Shubhajyoti, Chovik,
Yeah,
any.
I mean, speak the books. Like, it's fine,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you have in your mind.
Yeah, I have made a small contribution in one of us, the Vectors repo. Like I have pushed a code of Python that is from text to voice converted. Yeah, that is the text which I am writing in the console that will be converted to a voice, and that's my contribution to. That was my first contribution.
Amazing, amazing. Like, this being your first contribution, then I would say that it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I guess then we can wrap it around. Yeah, someone from your social community.
Yeah. We can wrap it up. Thank you, Didi, for coming, for your valuable time, for taking this session.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I
thanks,
guess all
thanks.
have enjoyed and all have learned something from the session. We'll again meet in another session in future. So thank you and good night all. Thank you, Didi.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks, thanks everyone. Bye, bye guys. Good night.